out of your busy schedule and money about better train. In that topic, no, more day ye, in says about immigration law, and I say about law mudia, no ubia after queen, a pebre edinani, esi ne fidion eba betie. Was as washe near air coso, especially ya America had him say no, when ya pa, way a immigration lawyer, yen in Asia, yen in the between in common. Ni sentino, Miss Ramo, my campaign per se Canada for. Mumbo anya immigration lawyers ni bi wo honom ne ntimi ehihye dwumede kama ma Canada for so na mo so ntimi ehu ne ekoso ewo mokro ni so mo Canada nya so mechia mo de ni mo an kita the same time, especially mo the east coast or that's the east side of Canada no hon chia kese pa na me de ma USA for na so mechia me so chia mo Middle East ana UAE area honom nyina Africa min ko form Ghana ba sabria mo so ehweye ye chamu nyina ye de nyame ase so ma na atwa kwa pra ba beto yen na ye ba be di dwumade kese ti se me kese nyina mesra na wo share link na bo busuafo no wadofo se wo mo so emra mehwe bi no betie bi so amre ye wo bra ye mra bi mu a more dempa when it comes to immigration hu sensem e wo pro we mu in the sense hu hia se ye be body rule na afede yama afofo atene ye koso me so am be di dwumade won chia me din any piki Ofori-Asenso me ne ma pam for na just say me producer directors Nana Lord A class and director Dani Subebo Amenia so dwumade ma na kama so na ko Jimmy so be support when we get to the startups and focus and to sabre misraw afeno aba ti akoya na bibia enkoso kama heda masepa ase be hye dwumade na se be kasa we akokopɛ aboafo waso yasne na afede ya dom ase so motimi ya support me di dwumade yi ebra mo sabre teacher ne di kan feel good services feel good says up kwan ya betimi ne di nkita hon up obi an be di nkita hon concerning mental health education and now say bia ope obi no abekasa wo honoma hwehwe ne cha kwan feel good services at gmail.com. So bia na make house feel good homes wa apartment wo pokwase East Legon Hills and Ajinga no or de ma wo any webusia holidays here be say open studio 1 bedroom 2 bedrooms na afedie oni webusia itimi akwakọ dwodwo mo ho na Feel Homes na make am for about friend number yi +1513 372 5758 and as a Ghana number ne ye +233 208 149504. Sasu na ope efie so ato a omo 4 bedroom house or East Legon Hills to say omo bon hu de road den price no I think the last time I met here na 240 250,000 with a 2-year plan obetimi etia ama bibia akọ kama so offer numbers here midama na obetimi enyomadi ho nkita ho na bibia akoso kama ebiom saso email you mo feelgoodservices@gmail.com bibia bekoso kama me saso kamo biom pa say also wellness LLC say open family nurse practitioner betima boa in terms of weight management and as if you're your primary care manager now in case you're looking for IV hydration look no further about also wellness my number near 513-268-2740. This are for people who are located within the DMV area and now say Ohio to be specific. Into who are these 2 locations now, Mr. Major locations now, Bomodia and friend number na fidie any kita. Na me saso ka obi say startups and yaba startups and papa no into no easy fast secure very convenient so only app ni bi sa brepa ye kasa pa dia na wankasa wa ka echiri I say wasa couple man no wendwem no copy app no ne download whether Google Play Store or App Store ne make sure so the promo code no ebe shin PK-KY no when you $20 on your first transaction ebiom bronya na ebe betimi ape emo bottle ba kwa ma uya ne ohia ne so be send screenshot to say o first time I use promo code in ye. Name sa wo app ne da dia na me sa so ka wo say mesra won se ni sika se ni sika coffee. I know say November is almost also ye promo draw nibium last month or more winning 100% cashback no enyai ma bibia akoso kama next week dey nice banner bibeba mu how everything is working with the November dia no. Enti bomodia now so epe echira kwa na ebi so wo so dida mesra entenda koso aseniska ekofie na bibia enkoso kama Sabre yebeko ni akokoti update from startups and corners ye fi honoma na afedie if you hold on na afi de ye de in nkita hodie no abra mo nyina na ye lawyer ye nin baby in komo the people's favorite lawyer RHODA A-FRIMPONG make I say you be posted broadcast you no be better stay hey our favorite Vandam is back tina make her actually said bibia be koso kaba one say next week a topic I be treaty how to create your own happiness and being content I know any winning award the HITV chat pool now yeah concerning topics that we want to treat no how to create your own happiness and being content say one sabe ma weni aje na weni aso nia owo so no and only be treaty it will be very very surprising say this is something that goes beyond just what the topic talks about but it takes a lot from people when this is what taking care of into no you be treaty and no number one next week jumedie so Sabre you go to update from Tata Send Akache Director, you might about Benjamin so.
Sorry, PK, I was on mute. And PK, major also, I chair busiafo nyina so. And next your Monday and your favorite show, Time with Tap Send, US, Canada. Busiafo your chair will be via. PK, I think I will not take much of our time because of your topic, for a net because my own for Johnny. And I know it's a lawyer, the Obaso Sana, so I should be a person who be a question near the other. It's Kakrabin, I'm the better about tap idea, Yasha, Ama, Abusia for customers. I'm saying Cheya and Che Biana last month, a year, 100% cash back. I think people were taking it as a joke, but any Jewokrum, for discapa, nti Jaya Juana, your director say, oh, man, this month, and so Obesa repeat TB. So from this month, 1st November to 31st, Skebia Obesendi Biano, you qualify to enter into the draw. Now, a nipa 70 and the way US are on winning. Try say UK so nipa 80. I mean across the board, over 200 people now ebe winning 100% cash back. It is a one winning last month the now. You are very hopeful. Say you should rest assured. Say be na this time so one winning until obi bia enyere no honam Sunday. Or winning the Obeka. I think you'll be seeing the videos around winning. The next thing I hear is say Canada and Miami Chrome, Italy, ne other parts. Unfortunately, omuntimi nka draw no ho nye because yempa omasem na emum omukrom ra no emma ho kwan say yebeye draws ewo omukro ni so. Nti yakwadwene ho te se de bia meka no Canada ni Italy de mikro nti ana ahye me mafa no personal. Nti adwene ho e free enne ekosi 24th sike bia wo be sende akọ Ghana bia ndie Canada ka ho ewia obi aka ho because it is allowed and you draw because automatically you win nti eno de obi aka ho bi. So every amount to be a be sende bia no you win a cashback of 1.5%. And I think this is a great news to everybody. Said be all inclusive and quite to say ye bi and ye jebi ninti Canada for most modi. Show ni question. I will put some flyers in the chat room. Message busian for some nyina mo share no status. Na mo ma mo nua no nyina hu say tap is back and we are really back for you people, for our customers and our lovely customers. Intina PK kakra me woma mo anwumre eno no say in case be a question bi wo na bibi wo na nye clear na wobisa na ma team bi. Thank you.
All right, Director. Yeah, that's any update. I think so. Anything that has to do with add-ons and promotion is a plus. So that's good news from Tatapsen, and I believe people also accepted in good faith and keep sending the money home. Send on betiminya. Na me bomb pay who the pakro send $10,000. I could not fit the was I the cash back. Yeah, can be made there no.
Again, Fatun na Ba na jawa.
Say me need 10,000. Come on, 10,000 in the anka messani.
Pikin.
But all the mommy a messani amount on your behalf. Eh?
That's the
Maybe did be that. And me say me in this. So the mammy na me say they are wabaka. And I want me measure me hono. Into the me was said Dorothy SADB last month and I think until is this today which was pretty good. Me the Sunday man there and ni mame yeah, that's the director. Sabre no ye be koso na yet ya kwakọ to dwumade so na ye ni yankasa ye nwaba lawyer RHODA A-FRIMPONG and ba betwetwe nkobon. Ebusuafo na me ka mo say in the show no ono ne hard time is 7:30. Into questions no mo start from brand tempa. Ni ntimi onya the quick update my quick update ni we na and ne ya start busa questions ne we ma. Ebiom ye the information beto dwa mesraw frɛ ne office ne booking appointment. The more you call to consult no easier for you say you bet me reach out. Not at least no so say ba wa ba no ya ye tie no so ye tie na so pem but my yen just sin tie ni sakeke na just say you ya fa down. Mo amota fa down mo jai sade no enfata what na me do kasada wa na me do kasada oni mo hodeda eya mo jai samo send say your message say yen fa ma lawyer na mo response no mo frɛ lawyer no na mo book consultation ye no enti na de na abra mo no the same thing no lawyer you ma kwa baba dwumade so
okay
and then we just watch mu
good evening
good evening
I'm trying to say
hey na me ado me bia boko somebody called me was it on Friday and asked what we having for Sunday and I'm saying we're having an immigration talk and he was like hey lawyer RHODA na I'm say I know say hey dance moves no koye was it multimedia
was it Prime TV I think yeah Prime
Joy Prime Prime is part of multimedia.
I'm learning to I mean Rosalind Philly.
Yes. Let me see who dance moves behind us share I could dance moves one. I think that was was it last year? That's a beginning of this year.
It was last year October.
Hey, and I feel
she said, walk to your seat. I was walking to my seat. That's all I was doing.
Well, based on what he said, it says it was a dance moves but it's funny how it's last year and he just saw the video recently. So that tells us that Tetraman Pro, whatever that we say over here may not be recognized today, but later down the line, someone is going to recognize it and approach you with it. So it's good to say we'll leave some good points over here. All right. So I'm going to hand over the podium to you. Okay. Give us your spiel, and after that, we're going to throw the questions at you as usual.
Sure. I was told to open some in time, so some brief updates so we can do the questions, right?
Yes, please. Because questions, I was really, scrutinized by the viewers. They say, more questions, no more, tell it to them. So I was like, but then the thing is, the nuggets are important. Sometimes when you give the nuggets now, some questions are answered down the line. So just take your time, give us the nuggets. Then once there is time, we'll ask as much as questions that we can with the time permitted.
Sounds good. Well, good evening again. I'm not a stranger to Tap, so but if it's your first time ever hearing from me or seeing me, my name is RHODA A-FRIMPONG, but you probably have seen me on TikTok as Lawyer Ro or on my Instagram as attorney RHODA A-FRIMPONG. So yes, I own an immigration law practice. I'm based in Massachusetts, but I serve people throughout the world, all parts of this country and other parts of the world as well. So if it's U.S. immigration and it's family-based or it's, some removal court cases, or if it's students, visas, and those kind of situations, I am the person for you. If it's employment-based, if it's your asylum, I can guide you, but I am not the person for you when it comes to actually applying for it. So yes, again, I'm not a stranger here, so let's jump in. There's a lot of updates because I don't think I've been on Tap in quite some time. But the big one that I know is affecting a lot of we Ghanaians especially is a DV lottery, because usually by now DV lottery has started and ended. But it hasn't started yet, right? So it's the DV 2027 was supposed to have started this October, but this administration has made many changes, including changes to DV lottery. It's not canceled. They're not going to stop it. It's still happening. It's just they're making changes to it. And so the Department of State has said that they need some time. And the primary change that we know that they're making to it is that before it was free to register. Now, if you were using some, connection man in Ghana, he was filling it out for you and charging you, that's your own fee. But when you are submitting the applications through the Department of State's website, it was free. But as of this year and going forward, they're going to charge a $1 fee for registration. So when you're submitting the application to enter into the lottery, you have to pay $1. And that's one of the changes that is coming. At least that's one of the primary ones that we know about. So I think they're trying to figure out how they're going to make that work, how they're going to do that, and it's caused a significant delay. And so if you've heard said we are not doing lottery anymore, or Trump has canceled DV lottery, that's not the case. He's just monetizing it. Now he's adding money to it so that the government can make some money off of people who are applying. So that's a big one. So stay tuned. There's no official date yet. The government says that they will announce it as soon as reasonably, practical or practically unreasonable. That's when they will announce it. Another update, this one also affects Ghanaians primarily. If you remember earlier this year, around June thereabouts, this administration said they were going to ban individuals coming from certain countries, including Ghana, Nigeria, Congo, and a lot of African countries. There was no official ban. It did not go into effect. There is currently a travel ban, but it does not affect Ghana, Nigeria, and the African countries that many of us are from, or many of us have families from. But what they ended up doing was that they limited the visa validity period for people who are coming from some of these countries. Now, a visa, the easiest way I can explain to you what a visa is, it's almost like a permission slip. Like it's like your ticket to ask the government to enter the United States. That's all it is. It doesn't necessarily say you can stay in the United States for the length of time that the visa is valid for. You may get a visa that's valid for 10 years. That does not mean you're allowed to stay in the United States for 10 years, especially if it's a visitor's visa. It just means you can keep using that ticket to come and go until that ticket expires. So what happened in June thereabouts was that the people woke up and just found out that their government was no longer issuing visas for countries like Ghana and Nigeria for more than 3 months. So where you would get multiple re-entry visa, good for 5 years, now you're only getting single entry visa, good for 3 months. And that might not sound like a big deal to anybody, but for the people who, let's say, come and go often, right? So maybe we represent some musicians, some artists, music artists from Ghana, from different parts of the world. Let's say they're coming to the United States on an O1 visa or a P visa to come and perform. Once they enter the United States with that visa, they can't use that visa to come back again. They have to go back to apply for another visa, pay the fee, go to interview again, and then get another visa to come back. So that was what it was for Ghana as of June. So if you were coming, you got a visa approved for one entry. Once you enter, that's it. And then let's say you got it in January, if you didn't use it by April, it would expire. Whether you used it or not, it would expire because it was only good for 3 months. Well, fortunately for Ghana, I think September of this year, that ban, I will say, was lifted. And so Ghanaians were able to once again get multiple entry visas, able to get, for a longer period of time, so longer validity. So now it's not just one entry, 3 months. Now you can get as long as 5 years, multiple entry for a visitor's visa, or for student visas, you can get up to 4 years and things of that sort. So that's a big change that only affects Ghana. Other countries, I know, I think last I checked, I think Nigeria is still on the single entry 3 months validity, and other African countries as well. So if you're from Ghana, or if someone is in Ghana and they're applying for a visa, they may still be able to get the multiple entry. And usually the question I get is, do I request it? No, it's at the discretion of the officer if they want to give you that. All right. So another big thing, automatic extension for work permits for lots of people in the United States. So work authorization usually is associated with some sort of an application that you're filing for. Either you are filing for a green card through your marriage and it's pending, you're filing for a green card through your child, you're filing for a green card through your parents and it's pending, and they allow you to work during that time. So you get work authorization during that time. Now, up until October 30th, when that work authorization expires, before it expires, you're supposed to file for a renewal, which means, okay, you see it's going to expire in about 3 months. You would submit the application. Immigration would send you a notice that we've received your application, we're processing it, and you can go back to work. You just use that receipt and the card, whether it's expired or not, and keep working. In fact, the receipt used to say that this receipt plus your expired work authorization card is proof that you're allowed to keep working. October 30th, the government said not anymore. And so if your work authorization has expired and you don't have a new card, you have to stop working. Your employer cannot keep you employed. If they do a check with your employer and they realize that your employer is allowing you to work, though your card has expired, your employer will be penalized for that. And so many people, if you have your if you have your work permits and you just got it, let's say you have a green card, marriage green card pending, you just got your work authorization, you're fine because your work authorization is good for 5 years. So you don't need to renew it anytime soon. But let's say if you filed it based on a different category and it's only good for 2 years and your 2 years is about to end, you want to go check your work permits right now, check the card to make sure that's not going to expire soon. You want to file the renewal at least 6 months in advance because it takes about 6 months for them to get you the new one. And if you file for it and the card expires and the new one doesn't come in, you can't work. So that's a big change that's affected a lot of people. So I'm telling you this now. Go and look at if you don't have a green card and you just have a work permit, go and check the expiration dates to make sure that's not expiring anytime soon. If it is, go and file for the renewal. A big question that I usually get, especially now, because we're getting near the holiday season, everybody wants to travel and go and do Dirty December and whatnot. Is can I travel? My opinion, based on experience and based on what the law is and based on what is happening now when people are traveling, is travel only if it's absolutely necessary if you don't have documentation. So if you have a green card, you're a permanent resident and you know that you got your green card with no problem. You've never had any issues with law enforcement. You and the police have never met ever in your life. Then you're fine. You're going to travel. Maybe you're going to Ghana for 6 weeks. You're fine. You're going to Ghana for 3 months. You're fine. If you got your green card and had any sort of friction or interaction or anything with law enforcement, you got arrested, you served your time, you've been released, and it was 10 years ago. You had any sort of criminal involvement, you don't want to travel without talking to a lawyer first. The reason I say that is because this administration, and I'll say this, even if you've traveled before and haven't had an issue, all right? So even if, let's say you traveled last year, you got arrested for whatever, you served your time, you paid the fee, that's past and it's behind you, and you've been able to travel back and forth without an issue with your green card, that does not necessarily mean you can keep doing that now. You want to contact an attorney. The reason I say that is because this administration has a very big task that they want to deport at least 3,000 people every day. And in order to be able to hit that goal, you're going to have to include people who have documentation. You're not going to be successful in getting 3,000 undocumented people deported every day unless you include those who have documentation. I say this all the time, and I'll keep saying that immigration is very discretionary, which means that they can choose to act, they can choose not to act. In previous administration, a lot of the things we are seeing now have always existed. It's just that other administrations have chosen not to enforce it. So the person who has a criminal record and has a green card and has been traveling back and forth in the past could have been stopped if the administration wanted to stop them. This administration is making it clear that we will stop you. So that's why I say if you have a criminal history and you have a green card, talk to a lawyer before you travel. If you're a U.S. citizen, you're perfectly fine. Travel, have fun, enjoy yourself, I guess. When you're coming back, just expect that you may get some questions. As a permanent resident, you don't want to travel more than 6 months out of the country. Okay, legally, you can stay out as up to a year, but nowadays, we don't recommend more than 6 months. If you don't have documentation at all, let's say you have a pending application, contact an attorney before you travel. And if you're going to travel, let it be something really, really, really important and serious. I think that I'll just close out with 2 more things. Birthright citizenship is still the law of the land. If you don't have documentation and you gave birth yesterday, next week, 2 months from now, well, we hope, your children are still U.S. citizens. Okay, that has not changed. President Trump has tried several times to change that. That has not changed. So you're fine. Whether you have documentation or not, your kids are still US citizens so long as they're born here in the United States. And my last update is a possible new procedure that's going to be coming up if they allow it. Right now, it's a rule. It's not official. Right now, it's a proposal. Proposal. It's not an official rule. Proposal meaning something that they're considering, they're thinking about, they're discussing. You know, once it becomes a rule, then we all have to follow it. The proposal is that they're going to start asking people who are petitioning for their loved ones to also have to submit biometrics, which is fingerprinting, get their photos taken, and have their backgrounds checked. Okay, right now, if you file for, let's say if I'm filing for my mother, I'm the petitioner. I don't need to get my biometrics done. That's how it's been in the past. I just submit the application and I'm fine. But we are seeing, I personally have a few clients who have been called in for biometrics appointments, and they are the ones filing for their family member who's not even in the country. So it's something that they're considering, that it may become official. And if it does, you'll probably hear from me. Another thing is that they're also looking to make DNA testing a requirement for some family petitions. So if you say you're filing for your daughter, well, the DNA better match. Okay, if you're filing for your father, the DNA better match. Right now, it's optional if you want to. And then sometimes if they send you a request for evidence, then you would go ahead and submit the DNA testing. Even that is still optional. But they're looking to make that mandatory for some family relationships. And I will leave it there. PK, back to you.
All right. That was quick.
I try.
That was very, very quick. Okay, we have some questions for you. So
Sure.
we'll start off by the first question is from No Names S23 Ultra. Will this be translated in English? Oh, yes. Sure will be done in English. Simeon responded to that. Okay, thanks. Let's proceed. iPhone says, any updates on family-based petitioning?
Be a little bit more specific. Family-based, that's what I practice. That's very broad. That's filing for your mother, your wife, your husband, your child, your sibling.
So since we're waiting on the specificity of the question, let's look into Patrick Amofa's question. Updates on H1B, please.
Yeah, so you probably heard a couple of months ago that there was an executive order that companies filing for H-1B applicants or candidates had to pay $100,000 for the process. So there's exceptions to that. It applies to people who are outside of the United States. If you are in the United States, and let's say you currently have an F1, which is a student visa, and your employer is filing for H-1B for you, and you're doing a change of status, doesn't apply to you. But it's more so for people because they broadcasted it, scared everybody, and then they pulled back and said, we actually mean it applies to this specific group. So that's the biggest update that I have for H-1B candidates and applications.
He comes back and asks, can H-4 apply for an employment authorization?
There's a small exception, only if the H-1B candidate has been petitioned for. There's a really, really small exception, but generally, no, H-4 are not allowed to work.
Okay.
Generally, there's a really small exception unless you qualify for that.
Okay. Producer also posted a HITV chat room on the in the link. Please click on that to join our chat room so that we can all collectively brainstorm on deciding topics that we want to see and treat here on the show. I will urge Director A-Class and also Danny to also Director Danny to also drop the link for the Friends of TATAP Sen, where we discuss anything concerning TATAP. And also, in case you have issues with your app, please join that as well. All right. Is government pay you for biometrics? I think he meant to say biometrics. This is from Summer Income.
So you actually pay for it with your application fee. Government's not paying for anything.
We're gonna make that response very snappy. Jamal asked, my wife has just passed on. Sorry to hear that, Jamal. Our prayers goes out to you and the family. Can I still apply for N400? I am left with 3 months to apply for N400.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So
does he need to call your office? That sounds very delicate to me.
So what I can say publicly is that generally you're allowed to file for naturalization after 3 years of being married and living with your U.S. citizen spouse. If not, then it's a 5-year rule, which means you'd have to wait for the 5 years. So for more details, yeah, I give my office a call. But generally, 3 years if you're living with and still married. At this point, unfortunately, you're not married. I'm sorry about that.
You said, unfortunately, he's not married?
Did he say his wife passed?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's no longer married. He's a widow.
Right, but
Open
then
word.
he was married to her, I don't know for how long. What if they've been married for 5 years and he just didn't want to do it at the moment? And now
Is he
that
asking for citizenship or is he asking for a green card?
he said N400, I'm
Oh,
not
so that's
sure what that.
that's citizenship. That's
Right,
naturalization.
right.
So the rule is 2 rules. Either you're applying based on having your green card for 5 years. That's the general rule for everybody. So he's been a permanent resident for 5 years. If he has been a permanent resident for 5 years, he can apply for naturalization without a problem. But I'm imagining he brought up the fact that his wife passed away because he wants to file under the 3-year rule. That's why I brought up the 2 differences. So if it's because of that, if he's asking because he was planning on filing under the 3-year rule, the rule requires that you must be living with and currently married.
Okay. Frank, I've been asked any updates on naturalization?
Yeah, so your test has gotten more questions. It used to be 100, now it's 128. It used to be you have to get 6 out of 10 correct. Now you have to get 12 out of 20 correct. That's probably the biggest updates. Depending on where you are, you might see a longer waiting time for processing of these interviews. I'm in Massachusetts. There's 2 offices here. There's one that processes naturalization interviews like in 6, 7 months. There's one that takes about a year and a half. Excuse me, a year and a month. So it all depends, but that's the biggest update. Just the questions
Okay.
and more questions to study.
All right. Gideon asks, my green card expired, but I have received a 48-month extension awaiting the final determination. It states on the notice that I can travel with the expired card and the notice. What's your take?
Number 1, is the travel absolutely necessary? Number 2, you sound like you have a conditional green card and you filed for the 10-year green card because that's the only reason why you would get a notice that says it's a 4-year extension. So if that's the case, you can use that notice and your green card to travel. Depending on the airline, you may have an issue because they may say, okay, this green card is expired. But that notice says on there that it essentially extends the expired green card for 4 more years. So you can travel if your case is not any complicated kind of situation. If you just submitted the removal of conditions, which means that what you had to submit to get that receipt, if you just submitted that, you're fine to travel, but you don't want a situation where they process that application, you get denied, you're not in the country. So kind of gauge that as well.
All right. Phoenixia has a question about being curious concerning citizenship at birth. Is that still available?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I
Okay.
touched on that a few minutes ago. If your children are born in the United States, on U.S. territory, whether you are a citizen or not, they have U.S. citizen by birth.
Okay. And you already touched on the DV lottery. Bright was asking about it, so I'm not gonna repeat that.
Yeah.
Any updates on EB2 and IW? Did you talk about that?
So that's employment based. I don't handle that area of law completely. So I can't say there probably are some updates. I just don't. Immigration is too broad for me to focus on every area. So if there are updates on that, I wouldn't know about it. But to
Because,
my knowledge, I don't think there's been any changes.
okay, because I heard you speak about if your employer is trying to change your status, you can. There was certain rule that wasn't applying to you, so I thought maybe.
So that's H-1B. So that's a
Okay,
little different than employment based. Yeah.
got you, got you. Well, in case you're looking for Lawyer Rhoda's number and how to reach her, please contact her at 508-439-4445. Again, you can add +1 +1 508-439-4445, or you can email her at info@bethellawgroup.com. Instagram is Bethel Law Immigration. So please make sure you take advantage of that. Contact her, book your session, and also make sure you let her know, hey, I heard about you from Time with Tat Upsen on HITV, so that she can take care of you as well. Prince Henry asks, can students go for EB1, or which will you recommend?
That's a loaded question. EB1 is extraordinary ability. You have either a PhD and you're curing cancer, or you're a professor in a really elite status. You might be if that's the case, but I can't say that without having a conversation with you. That's what I can say.
All right. Our code says any updates on visa processing times at the home embassy. How long is the waiting time now after interview?
After interview or before?
After.
Interview, you shouldn't be waiting too long. If you're talking about after the case gets sent to, and I'm presuming Ghana, for them to schedule an interview, that usually takes about 2 years. So there's about generally 3 steps in the process, and I won't bore you with the entire process, but after NVC tells you your case is ready, which means they tell you you're documentarily qualified, between that date and your interview date is about 2 years.
Okay. Nee comes with another question that is to a previous question. How long does it take now when you file for a family-based petition? And you wanted to know what type of family-based petition, right? Because it's kind of broad. All right. So Nee, if you can specify. But Blizzard Institute of Excellence said, I attended an interview for a marriage-based petition in January this year. I have still not gotten my green card. Is that normal, or I should follow up?
If you're working with a lawyer, your lawyer probably should follow up. If you're working on your own, you can follow up as well. If your interview was January of this year and the year's almost over, it's either your case has fallen on someone's desk and they've forgotten about it, or your case has been transferred to the fraud detection unit and your case is being investigated. It's either one of those two. But either way, you should follow up.
Okay. Patrick Amofa comes back and asks, can an H-1B visa holder transition to EB2 NIW? If yes, how many years can that visa holder be before he or she can initiate the process?
That's a really in-depth question about employment-based law. And I do not do employment-based immigration. So if you have H-1B, what I can say is can you transfer or can you change your status to NIW? Yes, if you qualify. If you have either an advanced degree or a bachelor's degree plus the 5 years of experience, you can go ahead and apply for it. The rest of your question is I'm not clear as to what you mean by how long the visa. So let's either talk offline or clarify your question a little bit more for me.
Okay. I'm going to read this question as is, so please bear with me. iPhone says, my mom is illiterate and has been here since 2016. Can she automatically qualify for her citizenship with waivers?
It depends. There's no such thing as automatically qualifying unless she has U.S. citizen ancestry. If she's been here since 2016, has she had a permanent residence since then? How old is she? The exceptions for some parts of the naturalization process, you have to have either at least 15 years of having a permanent residence, and be over the age of 65 or 55. And so if she's been here since 2016, I'm going to assume she's had a green card since 2016. That hasn't been 15 years yet, I don't believe. Not the best at math, but I think that's like 9 years. So just based off of that, I don't believe she would qualify for any kind of a waiver. Unless she has a medical waiver. There's that as well.
Vanessa Perez says, I'm looking for clarification on the Ghana national applying for immigration visa in another, which is Togo. Are they still able to apply in that country if they prove residency, or do they have to apply in the country of their nationality?
Great question. So up until earlier this year, you could do that. So it's called third country national, where you could be from Ghana. And because Ghana's interview dates maybe are taking too long, if you can request to have your interview done in Togo and they accept it, you could get your immigrant visa handled there. They've stopped doing that unless you can prove that you are a resident of the third country or that you are from that third country. So is it Vanessa? If you are a resident, you can prove you're a resident of Togo, then you may be able to have your case moved there.
Okay. Samuel Income says, I applied for my brother and it's 15 years now. And last September 29, I was notified to start the process. My question is, 19 years and 16 years old sons are both in school. And if I bring my brother and his wife now, and his boys stay back for a while, can I still bring them in the near future, or I will not? I think he tried to say I will not be allowed.
So we'll probably need to take this offline because your question is very multi-layered. So one, are you a U.S. citizen? If you are, then yes, you can file for your brother. You said you applied for him already 15 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And was notified about the process. Okay. Your question is 19 and 16-year-old sons are both in school. If I bring my brother and his wife now and his stay back for a while, can I bring them in the near future? So you're not bringing your brother or is it brother? Yeah, you're not
Yes.
bringing your brother's children. He's bringing them. You filed for him. They're derivatives from him. So if they come, like the process is your brother's including his kids with the process. So you're not the one filing for them. You can't file for them. And the rest I'll say let's just talk because there's more questions that I have.
Okay. Edith Ako Amewu says, what about if you married, filed, and it's 5 months after the interview and I've not heard anything from them? What should I do?
Have a case like that as well. We're still waiting. So you're not alone. You can follow up to see what's going on with that case. I would suggest that you do. I've been doing that almost every 3 weeks until I get a decision. But it all depends on the office. Again, it depends on the person who has your case. It depends on if they're doing, again, and I don't say it to scare you, but sometimes when the case is transferred to the fraud investigation department, that does cause delays.
Erica Noche said, is there any update on EB3?
I know that the December, so EB3, EB2, EB1, they're all employment-based petitions, right? EB1 is extraordinary ability. EB2 is a person who has an advanced degree, like a master's degree. And in that EB2 category is that national interest waiver that someone was asking about before. And EB3 is, you have like an associate's degree or you're a skilled worker. What I can say is that the visa bulletin has come out for December. So you can check that out to see if your priority date is current. If you have no idea what I just said, you're probably not in an employment-based process. Those who are in an employment-based process know what I'm talking about. So I would just say check the visa bulletin.
Papa Dave's iPhone says, what is the meaning of the immigration parole fee notice that has been sent to many people who has been approved for their Form I-131? Can you travel if you have a valid Form I-131 but you withdrew your I-485?
So no to that second part of the question. The first part of the question, so USCIS just was kind of sending out these notices to just about anybody who's applied for advanced parole I-131. So you can disregard it because it sounds like your I-131 is based on a pending, well, it was based on a pending I-45, which is a green card application. So if you no longer have a pending green card application, that I-131 is also no longer valid, because the I-45 is the foundation for the I-131. So if you withdrawn that, you also withdraw all the benefits associated with that.
Okay. Alfred Berkon asks, please, I have heard there is a suspension on H-1B application due to government shutdown. How true is that?
Due to government shutdown? Well, the H-1B season is starting next year, so. And the government's supposed to be back open, so I don't know how true any of those statements are.
Okay. Daniel, oh, this is from Director. So this is the link to the Tatupson, Friends of Tatupson is posted in the chat room. Please click on that and be a part of that family as well. Austin asks, can a green card holder file for their kids?
Yes, depends on their age, depends on their marital status. If they are over 21, you can, if they're not married. If they're under 21, you can if they're not married. But it's two different processes depending on their age.
All right. Phoenix here asks, please, could you talk us through an easy way of settlement if there is any? Someone who doesn't have family in USA wants to come, start a life, and settle. What should they do, please? That's very loaded.
Yeah, it all depends. So U.S. immigration all depends on your set of facts, right? Which is why I usually suggest doing a consultation, because then I can ask you the specific questions that I need to ask you to see where you fit, right? Maybe if you're coming from a country that is war torn, or you're coming from a country that does, female genital mutilation, and so you're seeking refuge in America, your process will be very different than a person who has a fiance in America. So it all depends on your set of facts. If you don't have family here, then what is your academic background? What is your skill set? What is your experience? Do you have a master's degree? Are you a benefits? Do you have some great idea that can help America? Then maybe EB2 might work. So it all depends on your details, and I can't give you that without your details.
All right. Amos Apia asks, can she help us on update on R1 visa? Is
Religious
it active?
worker?
Huh?
Religious worker, I'm assuming that's what they're referring to.
I'm not sure what R1 is.
Religious worker, yeah.
What is it?
religious worker. So for
Oh,
people who are
religious work. Oh, okay, chaplains.
pastors, clergy,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Actually, when I saw the arrow, I thought I was refugee visa.
Oh, that would make sense.
Is it active or is being complicated in Trump administration?
I don't find that it's being complicated any more than anything else is being complicated, but it's still, from my understanding of it, it's still active. I did one earlier, I believe, this year. So yeah, it's still there. You just got to find either a nonprofit, religious organization to petition for you, and you can take it from there. So it sounds like you might be a pastor. So
Okay. Kwame asks, I-30 petition received interview date in 2020, but was canceled twice due to COVID. After the two cancellations by the embassy, they are asking us to make appointment which has not been successful since 2020. Can you help?
we may be able to. We've done that for a few people. I've had to bombard the U.S. Embassy in Accra a few times. So depending on your circumstance, we may be able to get. Yeah, I can't guarantee, but we can try.
All right, so make sure you call her office. Oh,
Yeah.
iPhone comes back to say she's 70. This is the case about the citizenship waiver, and you
The
give an
mother,
example of she has to be 65 and up and must be 15 years green card holder and all the stuff. So she's 70, which makes her eligible, but still needs to meet the requirement of 15 years as green card. All right.
correct.
Somolin comes back to say, my brother went to immigration court for his green card, even though he didn't get the card, but the judge said he can stay here and immigration cannot remove him. But he has decided to go home for good. Can he still get his green card when he's not here?
No. No, that's the simplest way to answer that question. If the judge denied his relief, then he has no basis to get a green card if he's not in the country. So green card is for permanent residence. If you're not residing in the United States, there's no way you can be a permanent resident.
Okay. Charles Asante asks, I applied for adjustment of status with advanced parole. I traveled out of US without approval for the advanced parole. My green card was approved subsequently in absentia. I have received my green card. I am still out of US. Is the green card valid and can I use it for re-entry to US?
You're bold. You're very bold. If you ever, well, your green card with you, because if it's in absentia means in your absence, you weren't in the United States when it got approved, and you're lucky it got approved because this could have gone really left. But if you can get your green card, yeah, you can use that, I guess, enter the United States because the advanced document no longer is technically valid. So,
Alfred Berkon asks, please can an F1 student who is in the green card process travel outside US and come back?
it depends if you're still in school. Like if you're still a student and your F1 visa stamp in your passport is still valid, I would suggest you get an advanced parole document though before you leave, because if you don't, then your green card process is abandoned.
If the military has given you naturalization, can you file without a cost and do you need to do the test? This is from Austin.
Can you file without paying for the application fee? If you qualify for a fee waiver, you may be able to, but beyond that, I do not know of a specific caveat or exception for military applicants. If there is, then I stand to be corrected. Yeah, and do you need to do the test? Yes, everyone has to go through the test unless you qualify for some sort of exemption.
Yeah, I know 3 people that did it back in the days when I was in the military. They still pay for it. The only good side is maybe it probably comes faster than the regular.
It does come faster, correct.
Especially when you have a deployment pending. They'll try to get your family here before you leave for the deployment. iPhone asks, is there an update on asylum and is it true we are paying $100?
So you were, but now you're not, because and it changes every other week. So for all I know today, it changed again. So there was this new rule that the administration stated that anyone who has filed for asylum and your case is still pending has to pay $100 each year. So yes, that and every asylum applicant, including a few of my old clients, received notification that they had to pay this fee. But a judge put out an injunction because there was confusion as to how this was supposed to happen. So for now, again, I stand to be corrected. This stuff changes almost every hour. But for now, it's my understanding that you're no longer required to pay that fee for now.
Kwame asked a very personal question. If one is here and wants to marry in Ghana and bring the spouse here, does that one let family do everything on his or her behalf or has to go in person?
Oh, I see. Marriage by proxy. I want to say Ghana recognizes that. That's more of a Ghana law. I say that because US will acknowledge a marriage if it is acknowledged in the country where it happened. So if Ghana does, and I want to say that they do, does recognize marriage by proxy, meaning that you're not there and the marriage kind of happens in your absence, then that would be considered a marriage. If you're able to go, get your pictures. That's your evidence. But if you absolutely cannot go, then double check. If so long as the law in Ghana recognizes that as a legitimate marriage, then you should be fine for the US.
Okay. Phoenicia comes back and asks if a person from EU is traveling to the US as a visitor, what are the documents needed? Please, where to find all this info?
Please check online. Check online
I
for
knew
that.
your response.
Because when I do US immigration law, I get that you're coming to the United States as a visitor, but generally if you're coming from let's see. I'm trying to see. I know the Brexit, so UK is no longer a part of it. Just check online. But you're generally coming a lot smoother than someone who's coming from Ghana.
It sounds like you got a future client. And then Nikia wants to know, do you handle adoption procedures? Example, can US citizens adopt from Ghana?
So I do not, because it's a very specialized area of law, and I like to stay in my lane. I can give you guidance on it, but it's not something that my office handles at the moment, primarily because there's very multi-leveled. Adoption has to be done in, I'm assuming Ghana, yeah. So it has to be formalized in Ghana, complete the entire process legally through the courts in Ghana before you even consider the process in the US. So I personally don't. So you want to reach out to someone who actually handles adoption, immigration adoption, not just an immigration lawyer, someone who specializes in that area, because it's very, very specific.
And they made it very complicated to with the Hague
The Hague Convention, exactly.
Convention.
That's why I don't do
Now
it.
you have to go to an agency, and the kid has to be there for you to be able to get. If you want to use your own somebody that is not in the agency, you have to live with them for 2 years. So that means you got to
For
stop
2
what you're
years,
doing,
yeah.
go live with them. Wow.
Physical custody and legal custody for 2 years, yeah.
Yep. Someone income asks, please, to clarify my question, I filed 15 years for my brother, wife, and 2 sons, and I am working on the process for them to come. But if my brother decides to leave his sons to finish school in Ghana and he comes with wife for now, what happens to his sons coming like a year later after my brother and his wife are settled down in the US?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, again, it all depends on what your brother wants to do. If your brother's going to include his sons in the process, and what I mean by the process is your brother has to submit an immigrant visa application, and his wife and his sons would have to do that as well. If he chooses to submit their applications, then they will be processed with him and they would get a visa if everything is approved, and they would usually be required to enter the United States with that visa or it would expire. If your brother decides he's not going to include his kids right now, and it's just going to be him and his wife, he can go through that process, get his immigrant visa, come to the United States, and then he would have to file for his sons. So it all depends on what your brother wants to do.
Okay. I will ask, can you throw light on mandamus?
Oh, wow, you're a lawyer? So at the rate of mandamus, it's a very legal procedure you file in court, usually to get an agency to take an action. That's the simplest way I can explain it because I don't want to bore you. But if you are considering filing a mandamus or a writ of mandamus, you want to contact a lawyer. That's not something you do on your own.
Okay. Eldon asks, I wish I get a one-on-one guide because I joined late and can't follow.
You can have a 30-minute session.
Yes, please call her office and get a 30-minute session, and that would be very much helpful. Seth asks, are student visas still being issued for African or Ghanaian students, or it's heavily scrutinized? Is there any updates on that also?
Yeah, so yes, I haven't heard that they've stopped issuing visas. Yes, it is heavily scrutinized now. You are required to have your social media pages on all platforms public. You're required to disclose your social media account on the application. That's been that way for, I think, since 2019, thereabouts. But people are still getting approved. It's just, yeah, it is heavily scrutinized now.
All right. iPhone says, thank you, lawyer. Kwame comes back to says, if your I-30 petition is approved and issued an immigration visa, when you arrive in the US, do you need to pay another fee to get your permanent residence card, or it will be mailed to you automatically?
Yeah, that'd be nice, right? It all depends. You can either pay the immigrant visa processing fee before you come to the United States. And if you do, then yes, you will get your card when you enter the United States. If you didn't pay the fee, and I believe it's like $220 or something like that, it may have changed. If you didn't pay the fee before you enter, then you do have to pay it once you do enter. If you don't pay that fee, you're not getting that green card.
Okay. If my visa has expired, though my DS 2019 is active, do I have to go to Ghana to renew, or I renew whilst in the US? This is from Godfrey
That's a
in
J1 visa.
Tefo.
Yeah, so that's a J1 visa, sounds like you're applying for that you have. If that visa has expired, but your DS 2019 is still valid, you are allowed to stay in the United States for the length of time that that DS 2019 is valid. Now, you can't renew it in the country. You're not able to renew visas. You can change status maybe, but then once you leave the United States, again, keep in mind that you don't need the visa unless you're coming into the country. So if you leave the US, then yes, you would need your permission slip, your ticket. So you would have to apply for a new J1.
Okay. Once again, the contact information is +1 508 439 4445. +1 508 439 4445. Or you can email her at info@bethellawgroup.com. info@bethellawgroup.com. Instagram is Bethel Law Immigration. Bethel Law Immigration. That's her Instagram page. Phoenixia says, please, I am coming to New York. Do you have an office nearby? Or I would like to discuss something with you. Thanks in advance for everything.
My pleasure for everything. So I don't have a physical office in New York, but I have many clients in New York. So I have Zoom, I have Teams, I have WebEx, I have phone, however you need. If you want to come down to Massachusetts, you can do that too. But you need to talk to me. You can talk to me in many ways. So yeah.
All right. Some uncle says, please, how many siblings can a U.S. citizen file for? Any limit, or you can file for all your siblings?
Oh, that's a good question. It depends on how much money you make. Because the petitioner is required to show that they're financially capable of supporting the people that they are trying to bring into the United States, if ever that person ended up on government assistance. So if you make $100,000 and you got 8 siblings, you're good. If you make 60,000, you have 5 siblings, might need a joint sponsor there.
Okay. You did answer this question, but for the purpose of those who are watching or listening, I'll just read it out. I will ask if you handled all 50 states immigration issues, and you said yes. So in case wherever you are in the United States, she can help you out.
As long as it's U.S. immigration law, I can assist, correct.
All right. Someone income come back to ask, can you put all her information here? We did, and I also posted it again. Joseph Income. I got married to a U.S. citizen last year, December 2024, and I came in with B1, B2 visa on my recent visit to the States on 31st October. Yeah, very specific. I was referred to the secondary inspection at the airport. At several interviews, the CBP officer wrote in my passport, no EOS, AOS, or COS, with limited stay of 3 days. May I know if my spouse, who is a U.S. citizen, can apply for I-130 petition for me? I'm currently in the States.
Yeah, so you were abusing your visitor visa privileges. That's why you got that in your passport. So no EOS means no extension of stay. No COS means no change of status. No AOS means no adjustment of status, which means that's the green card. So they write that in your passport, but does it really carry much weight? Not necessarily. Now you said they gave you 3 days. If that's truly how much time you have, then you're technically out of status. So be careful. But you can always confirm whether you really got 3 days by checking for your I-94 online. If they give you the full 6 months, then you're not out of status. So that's good. Can your spouse file for you? It depends on honestly how much time they gave you. But I would say let's talk. Yes, the short answer, yes, your spouse can file for you, but let's talk, because in as much as what they wrote in your passport may not necessarily carry weight, we're in different times, and you don't want a situation where the administration or the person who's adjudicating, who's processing your marriage-based green card thinks you engage in misrepresentation, like you lied or something like that. So let's talk just to kind of clear that out.
All right. Fatibamba asks, I think Fatibamba was also a winner at the just ended October 100% cashback. She asks, can one travel to the United States from Ghana if his visa expires in a month?
You can use a visa to enter as many times as you need to before it expired. As long as your passport's not expiring in less than 6 months. Yeah, you can.
All right. The information has been posted. Okay, she posted it twice in the chat, and I've also posted it. So please, look to the chat. I just posted recently. You'll see it. Okay. Again, please don't forget to click on the HITV chat link and be part of the family so that we can all brainstorm and discuss topics that we want to treat here on the show. Godfrey Interful comes back to say, thank you. Yes, I am on J1. How can I change my J1 status? Is EB2 NIW recommended?
Depends on your qualifications, your skill set, your experience. You're in J1. If you're subject to that residency requirements, you might also need to address that as well. So
All
there's
right.
a lot there.
Samsung SM, not SM as in shutter movement, but Samsung SM A166U says, please, I was given a single entry. How do I make it a multiple entry? Hey, what's this audio your
You leave the United States, you go to apply again, and you hope that they give you multiple entry. That's how you do it.
All right. Floyd MacArthur says, I am a U.S. citizen who married a Ghanaian woman, filed I-130. Is there ways to expedite the visa?
Not really. You can ask. You can always ask USCIS to expedite the petition, but there's 3 steps to this. So getting your Ghanaian woman to come to the United States. So even if you're successful in the first step, you still have 2 other steps to go. But you can always ask USCIS, and if they say yes, then yeah.
Edupok asks a very, very intriguing question. When are you talking about Australian immigration for those of us here? Canada, lawyer, Australia. But if you do find us some Australian lawyers now, so first you can find us some good immigration Australian lawyers now, we will talk to them and get them on board so that we can also have some good conversations for you. Araba Etruba says, I am a green card holder. Can I file for my brother in Africa?
Only US citizens can, so no.
All right. Alfred asks, my kid was included in the petition, but couldn't pay the visa fees, so couldn't take her to the interview. Now that I'm here, can I pay for her now or has to file for that kid afresh?
Yeah, because your process technically is done.
Yeah.
Alfred, we would have to talk. Yeah, because if you're here, yeah, let's talk.
All right. Samsung asks, if I'm traveling from Africa to Canada and have to stop over in the USA, I was told I would need an inter-travel visa just for a stopover connecting flight. Can you please tell me how can I get this visa? Because I believe the visa asks for the name and the address of someone in the United States. However, I am just getting a connecting flight and don't know anyone in the US. Can you please explain the process from this inter-travel visa and the best way to approach my trip to Canada when I have a stopover in the US? I have a visitor's visa to Canada. Thanks.
So you need to contact a Canadian attorney for that question.
Okay. Fatibamba says, okay, thanks. Africa's worker says, is visa application fee the same as immigrant fee?
No. So visa application fee is what you pay when you're on step 2. So that is usually, I think, $120 or maybe $325. The immigrant fee is after you've gone to your interview, you've been approved, they've given you your visa. That fee is what pays for them to allows them to process and issue your green card to the United States. So 2 different fees. I apologize if I interchanged that.
No, you said it right. Someone Income says, thank you for all this free information. We appreciate you. Please, it's not just for you. One friend and I'm booking sessions. Why? So that she can come back again. Austin says, I was told the military naturalization covers you and your family. Does it mean all the family members will do the test, or when you do it, it covers all of them?
Well, if your kids are under the age of 18 when you become a citizen, then they may get derivative status, derivative naturalization or citizenship through you, but not your spouse. Naturalization is an independent process, not your spouse.
All right. Samsung SM, I did share the information again so you can have it. Is there an income requirement for a 21-year-old US citizen that is sponsoring their father for a green card to the US? Also, do you know how long it may take to get the visa? Also, if there is an I don't know, if there's any other helpful details you can tell me about how to be successful when doing this, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks. This is from Samsung.
With Samsung, the last question, helpful detail, book an appointment. Let's talk more because the process is not as easy as you're making it sound. Is there minimum income requirements for a 21-year-old? It's the same income requirement for anyone who's petitioning, and it depends on your household size. So if you're 21 and you have 3 kids, and you add your father, that's a 5-people household. So that determines what your income should be. Now, if you're 21 and you have no kids and you're not married, then it's just you and your father. That's a 2-person household. That you need to make at least $27,000 in the last year, assuming you're not in the military.
Okay. I'm going to ask these 2 questions. Then after we're going to go read some questions from YouTube. How much is the income bracket petition for a spouse with 2 kids? This is from iPhone.
Petition for a spouse and you have 2 children. If you're not in the military, about 41,000. That's a 4-person household. So it's yourself, your spouse, and your 2 kids, 4 people. So you need to make at least $40,187 or something like that in the last tax year. So yeah, there's actually, I'm not making this up. There's actually specific charts that you can look up online, but it's based on your household size.
Okay. Vanessa Perez said, thank you so much, Attorney RHODA. You are awesome and offer amazing advice. Also, thank you, Tatopsen, for this platform. Good night. Yeah. All right. Let's go to YouTube. Yakubu Maliki says, what options are available for someone whose visa is revoked?
Call me, let's talk.
Okay.
Revoked because why? There's a lot there.
Nana, God bless, says, can a green card holder file for the kids?
Yeah. If you're saying under 21 and not married, yes. Over 21 and not married, yes. As long as they're not married, yes.
Yao Safo has 2 questions. Let's ask the first one.
Sure.
My US friends filed for his wife. After the interview, her passport was kept at embassy at Accra. That was September 23rd. As of today, she heard nothing. When requested status, the response was, oh, that's a continuation, so not the second question. The visa officer is still working on it. What do you think is going on? Do you still have the passport? Do they still have the passport with them? Tell us what you think they are thinking, please, Lawyer RHODA.
Well, it sounds like the case may be an administrative processing. So maybe they're looking into something. I don't know. I mean, if they have the passport, it's 2 things. Either they're trying to verify something or they're trying to, something's going on. Someone is not doing their job. That's all I can say. I'm not psychic or a prophet.
Nanekia asks, can a U.S. citizen use their GH passport to travel to Ghana and travel back with their U.S. passport?
If they want to commit a crime, they absolutely can. That is a crime. You don't want to do that. If you're a U.S. citizen and you're leaving the United States, you want to travel with a U.S. passport. You want to re-enter the United States with a U.S. passport. You're not allowed to leave the country as a citizen with any other passport other than your U.S. citizen passport.
Okay. Wisdom says, with the current happenings regarding immigration issues, is it easy for an H-1B holder to adjust status to permanent residence?
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, easy. It depends on the route. If you're H-1B, if your employer looking to petition for you, that's one way. If you're H-1B, are you married and you're going through the marriage phase? That's another way. Or if you are H-1B and you have an advanced degree and you have a great plans, as far as a business or something like that, then that's another way. So it all depends on the path you want to take.
Samsung asks, this question is about an inter-travel U.S. visa that is used by the United States and not Canada. It has nothing to do with Canada. If I'm traveling from Africa to Canada and have to stop over in the USA, I was told I would need an inter-travel visa just for a stopover connecting flight. Can you please tell me how I can get this visa? Because I believe the visa asks for the address of someone in the United States. However, I'm just getting a connecting flight and do not know anyone in the USA. Can you please explain the process from this inter-travel visa and the best way to approach my trip to Canada when I have a stopover in the USA? I have a visitor's visa to Canada. Can they go to Canada without coming to USA?
Well, that's number one. You can, and number two, since the person sounds like they're
I would just avoid going through all this hassle if I have to do that.
They sound like they've spoken to someone, so I would say take the question back to that person because I cannot give any guidance on that. You sound you're very sure that it's not a Canadian question and it's then ask the person who gave you that information. Unfortunately, I can't. Like I say, U.S. immigration is broad, very broad, and I would not sit here and lie to my Tap family and say I know every aspect of U.S. immigration. So that's an area that you've asked a question that officially, after how many times I've been on Tap, I do not have an answer to. So well done.
Edu Pug says thanks. That was the Australia guy looking for the immigration lawyer. Please your details. Hey, I have posted the details 3 times, or I'll post it again. Okay, look at the Bethel Law Group information. I just posted it again. Please take that. And what about 8 households income? This is from Samuel Income.
Give me a second. I can pull that up.
Again, while she's pulling that up,
Roughly 67,687. So let's say 68,000. If you made that last year, you can file for your 8-person household.
Nice, huge family.
Yeah.
Again, please join the HITV link and be part of the family so that we can all discuss topics together. It's 7:10. We got about 20 minutes to wrap up. I don't know if we should open up for people to ask questions because I know how it can go.
Let's do it. Why not? Not 20.
Sure,
20 minutes.
Let's do that. But before we do that, Seth and Wisdom got questions. Sure. Seth says it's a transit visa C. Visa C. Samsung is talking about he should avoid transiting through US, but rather can use Europe. So I think that's the same thing I also said. If I feel like I'm gonna go through that hustle, I'll avoid.
Thank you, Seth. If we're hiring,
Wisdom says, how do I contact you personally? How wonderful I need to talk to you. So whatever you understood what Wisdom said and the patch or Wisdom person do ekasa. So Wisdom, please, the number that told them, use that number and just reach out, okay? Again, I'll play it again for you. Yeah, Wisdom says, how do I contact you personally? I will say it's noted. Thank you very much. It's over midnight here in the UK, lawyer. Thank you so much. I'll be in touch. All right. Producer, please open up the floodgates and let's take 1 or 2 questions. Producer, don't open the floodgate yet. Please put your emoji up if you have a question that you want to really say it, so that we can go ahead and allow you to ask, the question, because you'll be a floodgate now. We'll be able to over somebody and we may not have a controlled room. So if you need to speak, please put your hand emoji up and we will call you. And I'm begging you guys, please put your hands up. Let's do that right now, because as soon as it's exactly 7:30, we are shutting this down because I want her to come back next time. I want her to know your dear time. So please, if you need to talk to the lawyer now, please put your hand emoji up and let's go ahead and ask this question. I know my people, they won't say anything. 5 minutes before the time, then 25 people will have their hands up and they'll come and beat me after the show for not allowing them to ask their question. Please, if you have any question, please put your emoji up. So if you don't know how to do that, when you go to your screen, oh, look, we have 2 already. Fatih, let's go. Please tell us where you're calling from. And congratulations on winning the 100% cashback. And your question.
Yes, thank you. As I said earlier, I won over $2,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Anybody that said big money should win their money back. That's my prayer.
Everybody should win big.
All right, Fatih, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New York City, Bronx.
Okay.
All right.
Your question.
Thank you so much, madam, for this good lecture. My question is, my sister is out of status in America, but her children have a visitor's visa. But she wants them to come. By the time they'll be arriving for a holiday, their visa will be expiring. So she wants to renew their visa. And this will be their 3rd time of renewing their 5-year visa. Is it safe? Because the mother is now in America.
So it's a good question. Is it safe?
Would the kids be issued a visa or be denied based on the fact that the mom is in America and out of status?
Yeah, yeah. That's likely the reason why they may not be approved for the renewal. I can't say conclusive. I can't say definitely that they won't get approved for the renewal. But if their parents who went to the United States and was supposed to go and visit and come back, if they didn't come back, there's no guarantee that these children will come back. And so
The children were here about a month ago and went back.
that doesn't mean that they'll stay, they won't come back, that they'll come back.
Anyway.
That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah. But the mother's status, whether the fact that she's out of status might itself does not affect the kids. They're going to be evaluated on their own. But the fact that they do have a parent who's in the US and did not return may affect them. How old are the kids, if you don't mind me asking?
I think they are 12 and 8.
Okay. Yeah. Do they have a father in Ghana? I'm sorry?
Yes.
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 Then they may get it. You know, if they can show that they have strong ties and they'll return to Ghana, they may. But because they have a parent who's overstayed, that might also affect it. So it's a toss up. I can't say definitely.
All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Samsung, please tell us where you're calling from and your question.
Thank you. I'm calling from Canada. I was the person who had the question earlier about the travel visa from Africa to Canada via the United States. So the situation is my friend had a visa to Canada, but I booked a flight with a stopover in the United States.
Ooh,
so when she went to enter the plane, they told her she couldn't enter because she needs a inter-travel visa just to stop over and transfer flights in the United States. As a result, the airline gave me a credit. The ticket was about $2,000. So they gave me a credit. So I have a credit with the airline to book a continued flight, another flight once she gets the visa. So it would be expensive for me just to buy another ticket going through Europe, which might be another $3,000, and I would lose this $2,000. So it's that option I didn't know about. So perhaps maybe you don't know about it because most people are entering the United States, not just passing through the United States and going to Canada. But yeah, anybody I was told who's just passing through the United States with a stopover flight has to get an inter-travel visa, is what I was told. That's the first question. The second question is, it's me and my daughter.
Can I ask why you chose to come through the U.S. rather than just straight to Canada? Was it required for this trip?
No. Most flights to Canada stop off through the United States because the population's, 350,000. Canada only has 350 million. Canada only has 40 million. So most flights stop off in the United States rather than direct to Canada. Plus, the flight was $2,000. All the other flights were $3,000 plus. That's why I booked that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just didn't know. So I still have credit with that airline. As long as I can get that travel visa, then I can rebook the flight for no cost, as opposed to paying for a whole new flight going through Europe and paying another several thousand. So that was the first question. The second question is, it's my daughter. She's a U.S. citizen. So when she becomes 21, that income requirement, does the income have to come from Canada? Or come from the United States, or if she's earning that 27,000 in Canada or outside Canada, will that qualify? And also, if I am earning that 27,000 US dollars outside, will that also qualify us as a family to get a green card to the United States? That was my second question. Thank you.
Your daughter, no problem. Your daughter's a U.S. citizen?
That's right. And
so who would she be filing for you?
That's right.
Okay. So the petitioner is the person that has to prove that they make enough. So not you per se. As of now, that law could change in a couple of months. I don't know. But as of now, the petition, so your daughter, when she's 21, is the one that has to prove that she makes enough. Now, if she doesn't make enough, your household income, I presume she lives with you?
That's right.
Okay. So then your income could be considered part of her household income to meet that requirement. Now, whether I think Canada and US, I don't know what your currency, there's the currency difference, but I know it's dollars, but I don't know if there's an exchange rate there. But as long as she meets the requirements, and if she doesn't meet the requirements and you have the funds to subsidize what she doesn't meet, then she can go ahead and petition for you.
Okay,
All right.
even if the income is coming from outside of Canada, outside of the United States is
As
what I
long
mean.
as you meet the requirements. Your daughter may have an issue though, because there has to be evidence that she resides in the United States, and it doesn't sound like she does.
Oh, okay, so she'd have to move to the United States first and then petition for me to come.
Or at least have proof that she resides in the United States in some way, because the point of it is for you to come and join her. So immigration is family unification, right? If the person doesn't reside in the United States, why are they filing for someone to reside in the United States? That's the rationale there.
But
So
well, the idea is once she's successful, then we would move to United States because we don't want to move there unless we're successful. Because
Okay.
we would have to split up in order to do the petition. So meaning I would stay here, she'd have to go there just to file
So
for me
due
and wait for
to
something.
we only
Go
got
ahead.
10 minutes left, we got more hands off. So sometimes
Sorry.
I would like to cut it off. Then just go
what's your
to
name? Samsung. What's your name?
maybe she want to be anonymous. So
Oh, okay, anonymous.
that's a
All right,
secret
then,
name.
yeah, just give the office a
Okay.
call.
Yeah.
Let's,
Just call her office so that you can make it easier.
yeah.
All right, Paulina,
Thank you.
please unmute
My
yourself
pleasure.
and tell us where you're calling from.
Oh, I'm calling from Washington, D.C.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have a two question, but I don't know if I can. First one, I'll
Yeah,
make it
Paulina.
short.
Yeah, please go ahead.
First one is how long when your child apply for you, how long it takes for you to for them to approve?
Depends on whether you're in the United States or whether you're out of the United States. If you
I'm
are
in United States.
in the United States, if your child is over the age of 21 and they're a U.S. citizen, I've seen the shortest in my office has been about 7 months. That was about a year ago, but right now it's taking closer to a year. So it all depends.
Okay.
You say you're
And
in
another, yeah,
you're Washington, D.C.?
yeah,
You're probably closer to about a year, give or take.
okay. And another one is the father you want to file for the dad, but the father was previously married to somebody else, but they didn't approve him. So I want to know if it's gonna be is it gonna be easy or there's something I need to know. Yeah.
Uh, that as to whether it'll be easy depends on the outcome in I guess, in her father's previous application. So there's this thing, it's called the 204C bar. It's law that states that if a person is engaged in what immigration considers a fraudulent marriage, then no one can petition for that person again unless that person proves that that marriage was indeed not fraudulent. So if they just denied her father's application with his previous spouse because, maybe the woman didn't qualify because of financial reasons, then yes, your daughter could potentially file for her father. But they denied it because they stated that that marriage that her father and this woman was in was fraudulent. Then unfortunately, unless he can prove that it wasn't fraudulent, she wouldn't be able to file for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he's still married to the person, so.
Oh, okay. Then she's 21. Yeah, then yeah, they're still married. Let's talk.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll call you.
Sure.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
No problem.
Michael the most Ajamai, can you please unmute yourself and tell us where you're calling from? Michael is not okay. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi.
I'm currently in the US though, but then my wife want to apply for a working visa with my case to Canada. So I just want to know the procedures.
So it's Canadian immigration law,
Yeah.
and I do U.S. immigration law.
Okay, so I saw that the session is going to be for US and Canada, so that's why I asked.
Oh yeah, so this
You
section
you
is
lying to people? Are you giving out wrong information?
no, we're not. So this is what happened. So every show that we do is for US and Canada. And the fact that people are in Canada doesn't mean they don't have family members who in the US don't need this information. We also do have people that are watching us from UK, from Ghana, who also need this information for their family members in the US or trying to get to the US. So yes, this time with tap send section is for the US and Canada, but we have other people from walks of the world joining us as well. Hence, this particular session only pertains to US immigration. and the topic actually does depict that. But he's talking about the broader, holistically, the main target audience for the show, not for this particular topic. So sorry about that, Michael. Like I said earlier, we're still looking for a Canadian immigration lawyer. So once we get that,
I may know one, but
please, link them my way, and I'll be glad to get that. And I'll stop bothering you on that. Betha, please, tell us where you're calling from and your question.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming, Expert. We appreciate your time. So,
Michael, your mic is hot.
I did on mute though. Let me check it again.
I just muted you. That's fine. Betha, go ahead. Betha. Okay, Betha is not speaking. We're gonna call Ben. Ben, please unmute yourself and tell us where you're calling from.
I'm Ben. I'm calling from California.
Yes, sir.
I'm about to file for my children, but my wife brought a daughter, like my stepdaughter, to the marriage. We are no more there. Can I include my stepdaughter with my filings?
You can, depending on the age of the child. If the child is under 18, then you can.
She's more than 18.
Was she under 18 when you got married to her mother?
Yes, she was about 3 years, and we have 4 additional to her, so making it 5. I have school documentations. Everything says that I was the one taking care of her.
Yeah. If you got married to her mother before she turned 18, then by immigration purposes, that is considered your daughter. So yes, you could file for her. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, lawyer.
All right. Thank you very much. We've got 4 minutes left. Betha, are you still back? Can you speak now? If not, I'm gonna call Alfred too. We got 4 minutes, so we'll take Alfred, and Danielle will be the last person that we'll take after Alfred. Alfred, tell us where you're calling from.
I'm calling from U.S. Woodbridge, to be precise. My question is, I need to pay for immigrant fee for my brothers who just arrived. Do I need to create an account at USCS, or I can just pay it? And if I need to pay, create an account, is it going to be under my account, or I have to create a new account for them?
So you're not the applicant. You don't have to create an account, but the information, so there's a specific website that you have to go to. And then once you go to that website, the information that you need, your brothers, I think you said, they would have it. But it's their application. So please don't input anything that has to do with you, especially if as far as the address and everything. I've had situations where people have applied, got to the United States, and they went to live somewhere else. The address that you gave the U.S. immigration when you were leaving, when you first submitted the application, that's the address they're going to send the green card to. So just be aware of that. But you don't.
Right.
Okay, so even though I'm using my credit card, but everything should be in their name, right?
They just want the money.
All the information should be applicable to them. Okay, all right.
Yeah, they just want the money. They don't care whose money it is.
Okay, Daniel.
Thank you.
Please, thank you, Ben. Daniel, please tell us where you're calling from, and your question. 2 minutes left.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. My name is Daniel Palama. I'm calling from Houston, Texas.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being on the show. Thank you for being a blessing to all of us. Well, my question is going to be quick. I'm trying to file for my mom. I'm a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
I'm trying to file for my mom. Must there be any reason for me to file for her? Like, people normally file when they have kids and when they have mother to come over because they have kids. I just want her to come visit, like in green card. Would that be a problem, or would they require me? Must there be a specific reason for her to want to come visit apart from visiting?
So there's two. You're saying I want to file for my mom, but there's 2 processes here. So there's the visitor's visa, right? Which you're not filing for her, she's filing for herself. She's the applicant. Then there's the immigrant's visa, which is you are filing for her based on your status as a U.S. citizen and your relationship to her as your mother. So
Okay.
that option is for her to stay here permanently. And to that route, you don't need a reason. You just want to be with your mom. That's enough of a reason to file, right? But for the visitor, that's her filing on her own. She may have to demonstrate a reason for visiting the United States. And it could be as simple as she wants to come and see you or see her grandkids. So, but that is an application that she's filing on her own.
Okay, so do I need to send her, like, she's coming to
Invitation
visit?
letter?
Yeah, do I need to send her a letter or something? Or
It's not required, and then sometimes it can actually hurt her chances of being approved, because for the visitor's visa, they're looking at whether she's going to return to, I don't want to guess, what country are you from?
to Nigeria,
Nigeria, that's what I thought. You want to see the accent. I was trying to figure, is it Yoruba, Igbo? But anyway,
Oh my God.
they want to see if she's going to return to Nigeria after she visits you, right? And so if she has strong ties and she has a reason to return to Nigeria and they believe that, then they'll grant her the visa. If you give her an invitation letter, well, you're a U.S. citizen and legally you can file for her. And if you file for her while she's here, that process is about 8 to 9 months. If you file for her while she's in Nigeria, it's probably about 2.5 years. So because immigration knows that people can cut the process shorter and sometimes use a visitor's visa to make the process move quicker, that's why she may get denied if you send an invitation. May.
All right.
Okay.
Make sense?
So thank you so much. So your advice, let's say your advice, what you suggest is go through the longer route, which will probably help her in the future better than the visiting route, right?
It comes down to your intention. If she's coming to visit truly for Christmas and go back home, then a visitor's visa. But if she's coming to stay here permanently, then just do the immigrant.
Yeah, but she's not coming to stay. I want her to just come, have that green card. She can come anytime, like come and go, instead of visiting over. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. If the green card is the goal, then you want to file for her, an immigrant visa. Yep.
Okay.
All right, thank you, man.
Thank you very much. Wisdom says, when are you bringing her back again, RHODA? Oh, yeah, guy. Yes, we'd love to know that. But before you answer that question, please answer this one for me.
Sure.
Hi, Doc. Please, can you ask Lawyer this question for me? My niece has got admission for her master's program this January. Unfortunately, her interview date is December 2026. Ooh. Is there any way she can help? Thanks. Do you want them to call your office? Or you think it's...
I'll save you the time. If you just have...
ineligible.
You can request an expedited interview if classes are starting, soon, and your interview is 2026. It's all subject to whether they'll grant an expedited interview or not. I don't need to do that for you. You can do it yourself.
All right. Director, can you please sign her out for me? I want us to really work with our time, because the question that Wisdom asks, oh yeah, guy. So please, and I know OT is also watching me right now, one of OT's favorite lawyers of all time, and OT is always excited to see you and have you come on the show to give us nothing but great nuggets. Director, please, if you guys are available, Director A-Class, Director Danny, can you please sign out Lawyer RHODA for us?
Yeah,
Lawyer RHODA, we'll be looking forward to the immigration lawyer from Canada.
Yes, I'll get that.
And also the dates for your comeback. Sure. Thank you. Director, over to you.
Yeah, so PK, as usual, I'll say a great thank you to Lawyer RHODA. And I also say, oh yeah, guy. I mean, the way she breaks things down, I mean, it gets to us. So yeah. I'm a PK, sir.
Oh boy.
Pretty old trend.
Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, Lawyer RHODA, we can't thank you that much. I mean, that was deep. Thank you very much. I hope to see you very, very soon. Very, very soon.
We'll talk.
All right. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate your time.
Pleasure.
Your knowledge. Basically, you just exhibit nothing but you, exemplars of an immigration lawyer. I want to say thank you so much for your time. God bless you, and see you very soon. I was about to say see you next week, but see you very soon.
Good night.
All right.
Thank you.
Bushafo, this is where we draw the curtains when it comes to the main session of Time with Tatapsen. We had a very wonderful time with our very own lawyer, RHODA A-FRIMPONG, who always comes to our doorsteps with nothing but blessings and also great nuggets in terms of immigration law. At this point, we're going to hand over to Uncle Jimmy, who was he walk us through the top tasks and focus. And if you have any questions or concerns, he'll be glad to help you answer those questions. Also, with the ambassadors and all the